We biked the Camino.
Can you believe it?
I can believe it, but we need to be a little bit more specific. Make sure that this is the right video for you, whether you are hiking the Camino in any of your routes or you're thinking about biking the Camino like we did in the section from Burgos to Leon. This video is for you.
Yeah, so you might know us. We're Chris and Steve from EatWalkLearn. You might know us as hikers, but when we were thinking about doing the Camino Frances, we were looking at how much time we had and how much effort we were willing to put into being on the Camino, and we realized that there was a lot of distance we wanted to do, but we didn't have a lot of time to do it. So we thought, you know what? I'll bet you can bike the Camino.
Yeah.
How about that? And can you?
Yeah, and you can. And if you're thinking about, well, I want to be able to qualify for the Compostela when I get to Santiago, yes, you can hike, you can bike, you can even ride horses on the Camino. And we saw lots of traces of horses, let's say. And what we decided to do was take 3 weeks on the Camino Frances, or the French Way, it's also called. It's the most popular.
You may know the French Way by the movie The Way. That's the Camino that they did in the movie The Way.
That's right.
And we've done several Caminos prior to this. We had done the Camino Portuguese coastal. You can watch the video here. We'd also done the Camino Kodo, which is the Japanese Camino. You can watch the video here. And we've also done the Celtic Camino, which is 25 kilometers you can do in Ireland before you get to the Spanish Camino that will count towards your Camino. And you can watch that video here. So, you know what? We were kind of hiked out on the Caminos, and that's why the biking really sounded interesting to us.
It is.
Yeah.
So we actually had 3 weeks, and we decided to do a week of walking, a week of biking, followed by a week of walking into Santiago.
Right.
And this particular video is specifically about the week that we had a biking segment, and we did the segment from Burgos to Leon, 200 kilometers over the Meseta, and we did that over a 5-day period on bicycles.
And when we think about some of our cycling friends, and we think about, well, why would they want to watch this video? So we have some friends, Nancy and Steve, they ride around the world on their bikes. Why would they want to watch it? Because they might want to know about the elevation gains and why we picked this particular section. And we were thinking about our other friends that are like, we think we want to bike it, but we're not quite sure what it means. We're going to help you out with all the logistics of how to get those bikes. So
exactly.
So anyway, so we got to Logroño and we hiked into Burgos. And when we got to Burgos, that's where we picked up our bikes. And you know what? I'm just going to give a little commercial break here. What do you think of our new website? We've redone it all. We made it smarter, cheaper, funner. So take a look, EatWalkLearn.com. Tell us what you think about our website. There's lots of information on there about where to go and how to do things and do your nomad life. Anyway, so we hiked into Burgos.
Yeah, and Burgos is a great city. So we wanted to actually spend a couple of days there. And it's really great that we did. So when we first got to Burgos, we went to the bike shop, and big shout out to Burgos Bike Rental.
Yeah, big time.
These guys are great. So this is the outfit that we used to rent the bikes with. We got there and they rolled out the red carpet for us. They really treated us well. Made sure that we picked out the bikes that we were going to be using. We adjusted the seats, did any kind of additional adjustments.
Yeah, they adjusted the handlebars for me because they were too far out.
Yeah, a little bit. And then the kind of setup that we had, not just the bike. But what else do we have with the bikes?
Well, so we got, the bikes included a gel seat, a phone holder, little pannier, a set of panniers, a helmet, locks, and a repair kit and tubes. Now, and pedals. The reason why we actually went with this particular bike shop is we had a couple options and we researched them. One of the options was you could actually order your bike from a company in Amsterdam. They would ship it to you. They would enclose some tools and you would put the bike together. When you finish, you would ship it back. It was cheaper, but when we looked at all the things that could go wrong with that option, and we're handy, but I'm not here to put a bike together and make sure all the dimensions are right and stuff. I was like, you know what, let's spend, I don't know, it was maybe €25 more or something to go right into the bike store and actually get exactly what we wanted and develop a relationship with this bike shop, which ended up being really handy. So that's, yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that I look for is that, I want to know who I'm doing business with. I want to feel comfortable. And they certainly made us feel comfortable.
Yeah,
they said, anything that happens along the way, here's our contact information.
Yeah, we have their WhatsApp. They WhatsApped us several times. How you guys doing?
Yep.
Hey, there's weather coming. What do you think? It was great. We felt like our bike shop was with us the entire road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had our bikes set up. We picked them up actually the next day so we could start out in the morning, first thing in the morning, riding our bikes. And the first day was actually a pretty good day, but there's a couple of things that we realized really starting off. One is that you really can't go as fast as that you're normally going. And that's because the bikes are heavy, they're big, and you're carrying a lot of stuff. We had all of our stuff with us.
I mean, we didn't really have a lot of stuff, but just the density of the bike. I mean, because the Camino, it's rocky, it's gravelly, there's potholes, there's stickers and thorns. So you really have to have equipment that is rugged. It's like we had like an ATV for a bicycle, and so it was heavy, and with our panniers and our gear, it just made it. The entire setup was probably, 40 or 50 pounds. What do you think?
It probably was, but it was a good setup and it was very reliable. We, just adjusted our seats a little bit, but didn't have any issues with any tire popping, which I know that we hear. And they really function really, really quite well. And so, I think the point I was making is that, when you got to have to consider that you're going to be riding, it's going to be a little slower. One of the other things is that when you're on the trail, there's other people on the trail as well. So you got to slow down and kind of divert around people. There's also some rain where, we had to stop and slow down and wait for the rains to let up.
And our pace, puddles. Normally on the road, we're like 10 to 12 miles per hour, but on the Camino, we were like 6 to 8 miles per hour. It's just slow going.
Right. Yeah. Right. But, a big reason that we wanted to do this particular segment from Burgos to Leon is because the elevation change really wasn't that great. I mean, there are it's ups and downs the whole way, and even if you're on a road. But let's get back to the elevation change. And this is a particular part of the Camino that's called the Meseta. It's really wide open and it's relatively flat, and it's one of the reasons that people sometimes don't want to do the whole Camino, because this particular portion of it can be a little bit monotonous. It is. It's
days and days and days of cornfields. You kind of leave the the vineyards. You get into the cornfields and the sunflower fields, and it's flat. And if you hit a headwind, and we did have a headwind. There were 6 to 8 miles per hour, dropped to 5 miles per hour. And it just goes on and on and on. So I was really glad that we were on bicycles.
Yeah, it really was nice. It was nice to be able to fly at a faster pace. I say fly.
Than the walkers.
We weren't going that fast than the walkers, but it was a great segment to do that. And really happy that that's the particular segment that we picked just from the geography and from the elevation. Yeah,
and then the albergues and the hotels and the hostels and stuff along the way, they were very bike friendly. Within the apps, you could determine which one of your accommodations supported bicycles. We would just write in. They would tell us exactly where to put the bikes. I think every time but once, I think it was indoors. And we could lock them up or put them inside bike storage. And it was super easy to. There were no issues with having the bikes and where to put them.
What was the app that you used?
The Buen Camino app is a super app. It tells you all about the Camino and the routes and the stages and so on. But it also lists the accommodations, and it has little icons with each accommodation. And if there's a bike icon at that accommodation, it accepts bikes. You don't even have to call ahead or reserve ahead. You just ride right in and they put your bike up, which was fantastic.
I wanted to be a little bit more cautious, though. So we generally used booking.com in order to book our accommodations. And either way, there are ways to be able to contact the albergues or the hostels ahead of time to let them know that you have bikes and make sure that they are
and almost all of them are on WhatsApp. So if you have WhatsApp, you can just WhatsApp them and they respond almost immediately with, yes, we can manage your bikes. So we had zero problems with where to put the bikes. Yeah.
So just logistical issues with that. Contact people in advance. maybe Chris wouldn't, but I would like to make sure that they were like, yes, absolutely, bring your bike, no problem. So we were good with that.
So and then the route itself, it was probably one of three things. We were either on the Camino with the other hikers, we were on a road that paralleled the Camino, or there was actually a trail for just the bicycles. And so everything from paved to rocky, gravelly, sandy surfaces. And a lot of the times we were on either the Velo 1 or the Velo 3, which are large international networks of bike trails in Europe. And we just follow the signs. Every once in a while we had to pull up Google, but it was easy to follow, easy to navigate, easy logistically, and easy on all of that, but difficult physically to ride.
And that actually reminds me of the app that I liked most. Is called Camino Ninja. And the nice thing about the Camino Ninja app is that it has a map, and you can actually see where you are on the map, on the trail, and where there are roads that happen to either be adjacent to it or close to it, so that if you want to make a decision to avoid the actual Camino trail and take a road, you can. But one of the things that I really liked about this particular route is that a lot of the roads there weren't a lot of traffic.
Right.
So we were, pretty much, maybe every couple of minutes a car would go by.
Not even that often.
Yeah, in some cases.
I mean, you go all day without listening to a car.
That was one of the things that I was worried about with biking the Camino, is that what's the surface going to be like? Is it really going to be something that we're going to feel comfortable riding on? Are we going to be on busy highways, or are we going to be on
let's talk about comfort.
Let's talk about comfort. Yeah. And we trained for this.
We
spent a month cycling to get our bottoms
saddle ready, but the rickety trail, there was nothing there's no way to get ready for that. So anyway, first couple days, nothing hurt except one place, and that place hurt a lot, and I complained.
She did.
I ate a lot of chocolate. But
So kind of getting back to, it may not be as easy. I think I had going into it, I had really high expectations that we're going to be able to do 70-mile days and just really be able to, fly through this, and you're going to go slower. It's going to be rougher. It's going to be harder.
And the truth is, we thought we would ride the bikes all the way to Sarria. And then when I started looking at the elevation gains between Leon and Sarria, it was and there was one 2K hill that we actually had to push bikes up. And after doing that pushing the 50 pounds up 2K, I said, or 1 mile, I'm not doing that again. So when we're looking at that final elevation profile coming in Sarria, I said, I'm not doing it. And then it was also raining. And so, we were supposed to have the bikes for 7 days. We ended up leaving them in Leon after 5. And it was a perfect decision. I'm really glad that's the decision we picked, because we would have been miserable on that last day.
I'm glad that's the decision that we made also. And that's why one of the reasons we wanted to do this video is to share that with you, and what's the best segment to do the ride, how long you should take to do it. And again, the apps that we used in order to find your accommodations and plan your route and plan your schedule was really made it a lot easier, really made it valuable.
And again, a big shout out to Burgos Bike Rentals for really making our trip unbelievable and being the bike shop that went with us on the entire trip. And fortunately, we never needed them except to tell them when to come pick up the bikes, which was anywhere. And they told us anywhere you stop on the trail, we'll pick them up. So if we didn't get to Leon, or we didn't get to Sarria, or we went further, or we went shorter, they would have picked them up wherever, and that was included in our total cost, which we paid €250 per bike, or €500 total. That was all in pickup, drop off, all the equipment, all the gear, all the repair, if necessary, everything that we needed to be comfortable on the bikes. And it was, I would use Burgos bikes again. I don't know that I would ride the Meseta again. But you can use, and there's actually all the Caminos you can rent bicycles on. I don't know about Burgos Bike Rental. We'll go to those other places, but you can certainly get bikes on all the segments of the Camino.
Exactly. And we saw a lot of other cyclists as well. And it was really great bonding with other cyclists who are on the Camino and making friends, and a great social way to experience the way.
The hikers had their hiking family and we had our biking family. So that was really fun. So if you have any more questions about biking the Camino, please write them below. If you have any questions or suggestions, or let us know what your Camino experience is. And also let us know if there's a question you have about the Camino that other videos aren't answering. We'll be glad to answer that for you. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you next week.